All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society live talk show. It is Monday, the 7th, 2020. It is 8:04 p.m., and this is live talk show, episode number 26, guys. Got a good show tonight for you. We got a co-host with me here tonight to introduce, and a special guest later tonight. So we've got a good talk show, so hang in there. You guys are not going to want to miss this one. All right, I'd like to welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. You can visit our website at crawfordcountyghosthunters.org if you want to get on there and visit our website. Or you can email us if you want to email us about anything. Maybe you've got a place you want us to check out or investigate, or a location that you think's haunted. Send us an email, illinoishauntings@gmail.com, and we will definitely respond back to you. And, if we find it interesting or think you guys have got some legitimate stuff going on, we will investigate. We do investigate free of charge when we go out to do investigations. If you think your home or business or any other location is haunted, get a hold of us, and we will definitely get back with you. You can also message us on our Facebook page if you don't want to email us. And, of course, our Facebook page is Facebook.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters. You're probably watching from there right now. And we are trying to monitor everything here. So I should be able to monitor YouTube and Facebook tonight, which is a first. So our YouTube channel, if you're out there watching on it, is youtube.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters. If you're watching out there in YouTube land tonight, definitely send us some messages too, and I'll try to answer those. I'm going to try to monitor both places tonight. So that's going to be something new we're going to try out tonight. You can visit our Instagram page, although we've not posted much on there lately. Instagram.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters, or follow us at Crawford County Ghost Hunters on Instagram. The music tonight is by Midnight Syndicate. As always, all rights reserved, used with permission. You can visit their website at midnightsyndicate.com. Check out their music. You can also find them on YouTube and Spotify. Those guys are cool and let us use their music for all our intros and everything. And that is The Grizzly Reminder by Midnight Syndicate is our opening music. So check out those guys and their music that they do. Pretty cool. But we're going to get right into tonight's talk show. We're going to talk about a lot of things tonight. I'm real excited about our special guest coming up here soon. But first off, I want to introduce my co-host tonight, introduce him to the show. And tonight's co-host, welcome him to the show tonight, is Luke Massey. How are you doing, Luke?
Good. How are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. I know a lot of the people out there, aren't really familiar with you. You kind of started my live feed the other night, so maybe get used to seeing you now.
Yeah.
So, but real quick, what we got Luke here. He's like one of my newest team members on the team, and he's been following our show for a long time and kept messaging us, wanting to go, and finally got out to go with us and officially joined the team. So he's doing real good, and he's been helping us a lot. So I appreciate Luke's help. He's with me here tonight. So don't know what just happened.
Yeah, you cut out. Yeah.
That was weird.
I don't know.
I like this little. Anyway, I said, yeah, thanks for helping and everything. Yeah, I don't know what happened. My screen did this little spinny thing. It disappeared. I don't know what went on there.
Gotta love that internet out there in the middle of nowhere.
I guess, yeah. Yes, they're a lot better than me on this show because like their video quality and everything's a lot better. Because I'm like, I don't know. I'm in the middle of like BFE out here. I mean, there's like nothing in my area. Like there's no cell phone tower, and I like put antennas on top of my house and hot spots and boosters and all kinds of stuff, to get any cell signal out here. So just bear with me on my side, guys. Hopefully you can hear my audio okay. But Luke, kind of tell us like what got you started in the paranormal. What got you interested in the paranormal and wanting to go with us? I didn't really ask you that.
Yeah, you haven't. So I've always kind of been pretty well interested in this stuff. I mean, I think from seeing, my first ever like dark shadow figure, I mean, it scared me enough to where I was crying, but I was like, all right, that's kind of cool. And then ever since then, I kind of took off getting interested in this stuff and watching you guys. I've been watching you guys for probably a couple of years now, actually, on Facebook.
Cool.
So I was like, that seems pretty cool. So if you guys just join, I mean, me and a couple of friends back in high school, we'd always go out to Redford Cemetery there in Jasper County, and we'd do a lot of like investigations there. But I mean, we just mostly went there to hang out and kind of just see if we heard or saw anything. And kind of saw a couple things out there, and then it didn't really freak me out like I thought it would, but now I got Pine Lawn experience under my belt, so
yeah, you're lucky. Like you're like all the new people, pretty much.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that place is definitely a good training spot for new team members.
Oh yeah, that's what I try to tell people. You guys are lucky coming on at this time because like that's a once in a lifetime place, and you guys are like joining in, and get to experience, a place that's taken me like 5 years to find.
Right. Yeah, I was talking to Dickerson the other night, and he's like, you know what? It took me 12 years to see my first shadow figure, and then we find this place.
Yeah. That place is crazy. Luke, well, thanks for joining and co-hosting. Hopefully you can co-host, in future shows also. I just wanted to kind of give you a little introduction, and let people know who you are, and how you got started and interested in it. And I'm going to go right into our special guest tonight, too, guys. Get him on here because I know he's got a lot to talk about. He's pretty cool. Let me get next, if I can find my intro for him here. Got to bring that up. I'm trying to monitor too many things tonight at once. That can be bad, too. But kind of throw his picture up here real quick before I get him in here. Maybe. It's like the thing's delayed a little tonight. All right, maybe I won't.
Yeah, you had it up there. There you go.
There you go?
Yeah, I see it.
You see it?
Yeah, I see it on my end.
Oh, that's weird. It's not showing up on my end. Okay, well, if you guys can see that, that is a picture of Greg Koss, which I'd like to introduce as my special guest tonight. And he is coming up here in a second, guys. I'm going to bring him in. So again, tonight's guest is Greg Koss, and I would like to welcome Greg to the show.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, Greg.
Good.
Great to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you finally.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So Greg out there, guys, just to let you in on who Greg is. He is a paranormal investigator with Shadowhunters Paranormal Investigations, and he is a host of the Shadow Hour. So he's also an empath, a student of Scotty Rourke's, and working on his psychic mediumship. So it's kind of his little bio he had there, and he's definitely a cool guy to talk to and interesting. I always enjoy talking to Greg when we're out on investigations. We've done a lot of co-op investigations over the past couple years. So Greg, what got you interested in paranormal research? You know, what made you start wanting to do this, and how did you get into all this?
Well, when I was a young boy, I went out to Gettysburg back in the day before they even had reenactments. So you know where I'm going with this. And my father and my sister and my grandmother. And my father was the kind of guy that when you went into a big park like that, the first place you could park, that's where he stayed all day, even though you probably had 20 miles of roads to go back and forth into different locations. Well, we went to that one spot in a matter of about an hour and a half. The wind would die down and we would start to hear things.
Oh, wow.
And it was cannon fire, and it was rifle fire, and it was horses. Horses were making noises and guys were screaming. And then the artillery started, and it was like, and then the wind would pick up and it would go away. And then the wind would die down again and it would pick right back up. Well, that probably lasted a good 2 hours. And I can remember like it was yesterday. When we went back this last time, I went back there purposely trying to find the same spot that I was at as a child, because that's where it really all started for me. And as we were in the position back then that you didn't go around telling people what you were doing, because, you know, your whole family would be ruined because of the way people looked at things back then.
Oh, yeah.
And so it continued, and, you know, it escalated into going up into northern Wisconsin when I was young and seeing things up there and starting to fish a real lot up there, and then noticing things at night that would happen. And it just kept on escalating to the point where I was getting to the point of almost retiring. And it was like, you know, what do I want to do? What do I really want to do?
Right.
And it was like, this is something that I need to do. And I went to a little event that had Ursula Bielski and a bunch of people from Chicago at. And I walked into the room, and it was the first time in a long, long time that I was able to walk in and say anything I wanted to say and not fear of any reprisals or anybody that would look at me strange because of what I had experienced.
Right.
And that was the beginning. And then I met Dale Kazmarek and GRS and became a member there. And about 3 years into it now, we were there and Shadowhunters needed some help. And we talked, and I says, well, that's my home territory. I live in Lake Villa. Shadowhunters is in Lake Villa. You know, why not?
Right.
I took all that and sort of incorporated it all together. And now I do both. I do whatever I can with both, you know, and help out and try to make it happen for other people like Luke, you know, that, you know, he has a world in front of him that, boy, I wish, you know, I'm really jealous.
Yeah.
Because you got a lot of time. You know, just don't let that hair stand straight up too much. You never get it come back down.
So.
But it's really neat that way. And I think up here, a lot of have really taken off. because of the amount of things that are around here. I was a muskie guide up here. I still do occasionally. I have my captain's license. So I've been on the water a whole hell of a lot. And when I would go up to northern Wisconsin, it was a double trip. It was to go fishing, and then I had my own location with my own ghosts in it. And there's still ghosts. There's two of them that are still ghosts. There's two more that are really spirits. And what I mean by that is that ghosts are the ones that are still here. Spirits are the ones that have crossed over and they've come back.
Yeah. So
that's what that's about. And when you get to experience ones like that, it's eye-opening to say the least.
Yeah,
I know the locations and everything have really been amazing to me, and I've had a great time. So
I was going to ask you, what type of ghosts and spirits have you encountered out there while you're fishing and doing that stuff, kind of fishing, trying to relax, and all of a sudden you see a ghost?
Well, I don't know if you could really classify them as being ghosts, but I've actually seen the Indian warrior on the Chippewa flowage that rides his horse above the island.
Oh, wow.
And it's usually at dusk. It's at dusk, and he's actually a warrior. And I've seen him. I saw him once. I have friends that have seen him a couple times. We have all seen the pictures too that were taken by some friends of ours that are, pretty good guides up there. Well, they're famous guides.
Right.
And they were there at that time too, where, you took a picture of that and it was like, you don't be telling too many people about this. Yeah. I don't want to lose my business, because
right.
They'll be saying you've been drinking too much,
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing too. Like you were talking earlier too about, it's changed. The paranormal world's changed a lot since, we started, and, since I started doing it even back then, it's like, like you're saying, you couldn't tell people this stuff back then. They didn't think you were nuts. They would say that, you're doing weird stuff, or like, out in the cemetery doing stuff you weren't supposed to be, but now it's more accepted, nowadays, to talk about this kind of stuff. So it's like, a lot more people are into it and interested in it because it's not such a taboo topic anymore. But that's an interesting story you got there, Greg. Now you said in your bio that you're an empath, and you're working on psychic mediumship skills. Now, have you always known? So what's that like? Explain that to me. Are you picking up emotions of other people a lot? Are you picking up emotions of the dead? I know empaths pick that up. So, it kind of explain to the viewers out there, what you feel on a daily basis being an empath and psychic medium.
I have to be careful with everybody that I talk to.
Okay.
Because I have to sort of wall it off to be able to understand what they're about without going ahead and feeling what I'm, broadcasting what I'm feeling.
Right.
You sort of hold it back a lot. As far as the investigations are concerned, it's an open court. You can go for it, and I found that in the very beginning, that, like we would go to locations and I would walk through and I'd get so far and I'd go, there's something over here. And, you'd go ahead and you'd get in, and then you'd start to pick up on certain things, either coldness or warmness, heaviness or not, that the same kind of things that you guys all know what about.
Sure.
But I'm at the point now where I'm trying to tune it all into the end where I have an additional set of eyes.
Right.
Because it's like your third eye, or, and bring that out, because that's something on private investigations And we had talked about this before. And it was like, that was the thing that always got me, was the fact that if you went into something really bad, where you weren't going to be prepared, this might give you an even edge.
Right.
So it was more or less the fact of trying to hone those skills and those feelings and everything else and bringing it together, and knowing that I'm not by myself, that I have my spirit guides, and I have my spirit animals that are here to help me on a daily basis, let alone go to an investigation,
Right.
It's a way of life.
Right. That's what I was going to ask. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of times, that going through daily life that, you kind of like feel weird or feel emotional or something. You're actually probably picking up on somebody around you. I mean, did that take a while to figure out that it wasn't you?
Yeah.
That you're picking up on somebody else?
Yes, it did, Jason. Yes, it did. That's the part that, a lot of people, go around and they never have the opportunity to understand that.
Right.
And that's the kicker, is, coming up with something, and that's a gift. It's not something that I'm really creating. It's something that's being given to me to help me in what I do.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of emotions. Like I say, you can pick up on people. It's just like, it's like a flood of emotions. I mean, you got to sort those out and try to figure out what's what. But that's pretty interesting. So, what age did you figure out you could do that, Greg? Like, at what age did you think like something isn't right here or something is right? Whichever way you want
to look. As you're growing up, you would pick up things differently than other people would. That's all. And you would just keep on going at it. And I used to play sports just to take out some of those feelings, right. Contact, a lot of heavy contact. And now, when I look back at it, it's like, if only I would have understood a little sooner about what's really going on, I think I would have been a hell of a lot better off. But, that's the way it is. I can't change it. I can only go ahead and be grateful for what I got today. Yeah. And, this is an opportunity, no matter what anybody would say, that to me is a gift.
Right.
And to be able to go to the locations and see the things we do, and go to the cemeteries. We're not going in there to knock over tombstones and have parties and leave beer cans and all that crap behind. We're there to actually see if we could help some of them.
Sure.
Some of the ones that some of the ghosts or spirits that are still hanging around, and share it, And it's an entirely different feeling. You guys have gone to locations down there by you that aren't half as bad as some of the stuff up here in Chicago.
Yeah.
South of us, where they have just wrecked Bachelor Grove.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Yeah, that's a bad place. There's been a lot of vandalism around here, but it seems to be sporadic. There'll be like one cemetery might get vandalized, and it never gets vandalized again. It's kind of little country cemeteries. People go around. It's still just as bad, but like Patrick's Grove has just been hit repeatedly. People vandalize that thing like on a regular basis. It's just like, you guys have got a lot bigger population up your way too, so there's people out, doing that stuff at night. It's like, we're more of a secluded country type setting around here. Most of our cemeteries are like backwoods cemeteries, back along lanes, and they're creepy as heck, but there's not as many people visit them. And I guess it's kind of fortunate in that aspect that we don't get as much vandalism, I think, but it happens, don't get me wrong, but it seems like it's randomness. It's not like, oh my gosh, let's go to Bachelor's Grove and tear it up like they do upstairs. It's like but either way, it's horrible for these people to be doing this stuff. Like, we try to, we've tried to catch them ourselves, and we report everything we see like that. We try to restore cemeteries, when we do find them like that, or pick a stone up, try to put it back in its position. But sometimes they just tear them up beyond, repair. So, yeah, you guys' cemeteries up there, like I said, you get a lot more traffic to them than we do.
Well, the Grove, back in the 50s, the 40s, 50s, and even through part of the 60s, was totally overgrown.
Mm-hmm.
People knew it was a party spot. That's all they knew. And it's like every other one that's attached to demonic situations and pools, and Satan's pool is one up by us, and behind a cemetery, and it's not, they don't do anything really to the cemetery, but back in the back there, they just raise hell.
Right.
So,
yeah, that's another thing about kind of in the southern part of Illinois, the cemeteries are a lot more harder to find. I feel like they're not really on the maps like how they are up north in the popular areas. So,
well, I saw some pictures from about 3 years ago, from one of the first times that you did one of your little excursions, Jason, with GRS down there.
Right.
And you went into a couple of them where it had high grass in it and everything else around the tombstones.
Yeah.
Then that's the place where I think if they know that nobody's taking care of it, they more have a chance to get away with causing some, damage and getting away. But
we got like so many backwoods cemeteries around here that, like Luke was saying, Google Maps won't even take you to half these places, or your maps. It's like you have to either get word of mouth, and directions on how to get there on some of them, because some of them already been listed on like the old maps. Like they're so old and stuff that they're in secluded locations in the woods, or they're on private property or something we have to get permission to go to, and then they're not listed. So we've got a lot of cemeteries. I mean, I think there's like close to 300 cemeteries in like Crawford County that we've investigated. And then, Jasper County and, Richland, Lawrence, Clark. We investigated about every cemetery in the surrounding county area too. And, there's a lot of them. We've tried to document in GPS a lot of these backwoods cemeteries. And I started a project, but haven't finished it yet, where I was going around to all these cemeteries that weren't listed, and I was GPSing them, taking pictures and everything. I was going to give a copy of it to the local library for the genealogical rooms, and stuff, so they can go in there and look up maybe a family member if they need to, and find the cemetery and everything. So that was the project I started that I got finished too. I was going to do Crawford, Jasper, Clark, Lawrence. But I've got a lot of Crawfords done. I mean, pretty much all of them I've got GPS to mark. So, like, people have called me before and said, like, hey, how do you get to this cemetery? And I just give them GPS coordinates on how to get there now, because I've GPSed, most of them. So, but yeah, there's a lot of them.
we have a lot up here by us, by the border, by the Wisconsin border, that are pre-Civil War. We have a lot of Civil War soldiers, not a real lot, because there wasn't a lot of real populations outside of Waukegan. We had two main towns, and those towns, one of the towns lost about 7 or 8. And we have another cemetery in Melbourne that I think there was 17 or 18 that were lost. And there was a total of probably 120 that went. And that was interesting to see that and to read that and to know that those guys are here. And there's cemeteries. There's one outside Elgin too. It's called the Bluff City Cemetery.
Okay.
And that one has a whole area of soldiers' graves from the Civil War. Whole Civil War section. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
And I think that, something today too, and you brought it up about cleaning the headstones and working at it like that. You know, that's the kind of project that I think we should be able to go ahead and get involved here. But when you cross the lines where you go into one of those cemeteries and they have all the legal ramifications that go along with it, there's people that don't want those tombstones touched.
Right.
You know, so, you know, you're trying to do something good, and at the same time, you're going to have somebody come in there and stop you.
Yeah, I know.
So
yeah, some of them you have to get permission from the board and stuff, and the board goes in and fixes them, and they want them restored a certain way. But yeah, you're right. Like sometimes you try to do a good deed, and then they like don't want you to like touch them, move them, anything like that. So it's like, but yeah, there's a lot of old ones around here. Some of them have been restored. Like some of them were down by the Flat Rock area. You know, there was one that a lot of ours, like we've had like graves wash into the creek, and like bodies will be like body part or bones, you know, will be found in the creek. Like they found a skull and some teeth, I think, from like an old grave, and like a casket handle washed into the creek. I mean, sometimes, you know, like the creek will get into the grave sites and then wash the stuff out from underneath it. Like we have that happen, like I think in like 3 or 4 different cemeteries, I think in Crawford now, where that's taking place. And you know, there's not much you can do. You know, you just gotta, because the creek's gonna keep cutting through there, and it just keeps cutting that into the cemetery farther and farther. So it's like, how do you stop it? You know, I mean, they've reinforced it, you know, put gravel stuff in, you know, to try to fix the washouts, but you know, that creates like haunted stuff too. I mean, when your grave gets washed away, you know, I mean, that would kind of piss me off.
Like, what I do, like people or what?
Yeah, you never know who's going to be up above you when you walk in.
Yeah,
you know, you just can't tell. But you know that whole idea that we were talking about, you know, that up by us, and I think that it just shows where the people are going today too. In reference being to the fact that there's people that don't even know about these graves and how old they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not interested. So I think we have to carry the tradition and sort of bring it to the other people and say, hey, look, you know, if it's your relatives, that's one thing. If it's somebody else's relatives, it's another. And it can't be looked like that. It has to be a joint effort.
Sure.
Everybody has to get together on that. So
you can't buy something big, which ones you help protect. I mean, you know, because like you said, you know, and those people, it's crazy to think, you know, that some of these graves are so old. You know, they have no living relatives or in the area a lot of times. Some of them, you know, there's no one to come fix some of these graves. There's no one to come decorate some of these graves. And it's like, that's the last thing that remains on the earth of that individual is their name in stone. You know, and like that's all that they're remembered by. And it's just it's a crazy thought. And that's why it makes you think, man, you want a real big fancy stone that's not going to be washed away or something, because like some of these little stones, you know, that were put away, you know, that's the only thing left of these people on this earth. You know, it's like their only memory. And unless they were somebody famous or, you know, something like that, you know, it's just like nothing left. And I guess, you know, I mean, that's the way it should be. You know, I don't know, but you know, we're here one day and gone the next. It's like these stones are just you know, just crazy to think about. You know, if you think about how old these things are, I mean, it's amazing.
Well, like you said, there's nobody to come in and say, hey, are you guys going to move all my family's graves because they're washing away?
Right.
There's not even anybody there to really push an effort.
Yeah.
So, you know, that sort of does it in right then and there. You know, I know we have a tour that we run from Shadow Hunters, and we do 9 stops in Lake County, and we do 2 different cemeteries, and one of them's the one that's called St. Pat's, and it's up in a town by the name of Wadsworth, which is right off the border. And that's another old one too. And if I could ask you a question.
Yeah.
Have you been using your SLS a lot on cemeteries?
Yeah. Not really, not lately. We did at first. Like, tell you the truth, like I'm not a big fan of it anymore because I got so many false positives. Although there was a couple times, like Greg, I got some really cool intelligent responses at different places. I said, "Hey, raise your arm," and it raised its arm. Waved. That's what I like to see. I like to see intelligent responses, but like.
Right.
We were getting so many false positive hits on that thing. Like you almost have to be out in an open area, or like I don't like to have any object in front of it because like when I'm running the SLS camera, even if it hits a tombstone or it hits like a chair, chairs are real bad about it with legs and stuff. They seem to throw out false anomalies, and it looks like somebody's standing there and it's not. It's like I don't know. The SLS cameras I'm back and forth on. I've seen it I think they work. I just think we have to be careful with them, and I haven't been using it a lot lately. We had a software problem with ours. We're actually trying to get it fixed right now. I don't know what's going on with it, but I don't think that's what was causing our false anomalies, though, because I've used several others and it happened the same thing. If you hit on a chair, you'll get a stick figure that's not actually a ghost; it's a chair. So I mean, have you guys? I seen that video you sent me. As I didn't get a post up here. So tell me what went on in that. I've also got your pictures if you want to talk about those, Greg.
We could talk those, and we could talk about the other two film shots too that were the videos. But
yeah, I seen that figure video. That was pretty good on your SLS.
That one was taken off an SLS tube app.
Okay.
And, I have a little issue with tremors, so I normally need to have a tripod set up. But I was shooting a location with probably about 45 to 50 graves. And to put me at rest as far as false positives were concerned, I would shoot every tombstone.
Right.
I was not picking anything up. Mm-hmm. On any of these tombstones. And I got down to a certain area where the weekend before, Sharon, who's with Shadow Hunters, had hers, and she was picking up this gentleman, or it had to be a guy. He was a bigger guy, but he was off to the side too. The tombstone is over here. This guy was a good 4 feet away from the tombstone with nothing behind him. He was in the clear, and she would pick him up and he would walk. Sometimes, you'd ask him to raise a hand, or I walked in to go ahead and say, here, here's my hand.
Yeah.
Let's shake hands like that, and he would disappear.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So it's not the tombstone.
Oh, yeah.
So we would go back and forth. So then the next week I went from one end to the other end, and I covered probably maybe a fifth of the cemetery doing what I just told you.
Right.
Trying to find that catch of why I was seeing this stuff. Trying to debunk it.
Sure.
And I got down to the end, and there was a lower tombstone. And it was a family tombstone, and about maybe 6 feet to the side of it was a smaller tombstone that belonged to a girl.
Okay.
So I'm just going through, and I'm coming to it, and I start to shoot it, and all of a sudden, here it appears.
Oh, wow.
And it's not as big as the one that was down at the other end.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
It's not as big. And when it came out, it actually, if you could see the video, like you saw it, you could see how far she traveled. If you figured that if you can spot the tombstone that was in the ground, it was a good 5 to 6 feet away. And originally she started on the side of the bigger one. And as I was watching her, she walked that far towards me.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I mean, that's pretty hard to explain. I think some.
Go ahead.
I think some of the weirdest footage I captured, well, is on the SLS. We were in an old church one night, and you could see the pews and everything. We had the SLS going. I think we were going live even during that investigation. You remember it, Luke?
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I was going live and I was filming the church pew, and it looked like two, ghosts pretty much sat down there, and it looked like one of them had their arms crossed, and then like it almost looked like they were holding hands at one point. I told them to wave, they kind of waved a little. One of them looked like it crossed its legs, it looked like it was sitting there in the church pews, like two of them. And then one of them went away, came back. I mean, it was really weird. And that one was pretty good. And then up at the Ashmore Estates, I don't think we were going live during this one. We might have been, but we were investigating the Ashmore Estates, and there was a chair, and it looked like a little kid came up and sat in the chair because it was a small figure too. That's what reminded me of that when you said, it was a smaller figure. It came up and like kind of sat down in the chair and looked like a kid, and just sat there for a minute, and then it went away. So it's like, I've seen some really weird stuff with them. I think they actually could work, and there's some kind of pretty much science behind it. You're sending out a laser grid and millions of dots to map that out. It's returning it back, in the form of a person. Right. But like, it's like, I think you got to, like I say, I've got to be careful with ours anyway, and not get false anomalies. That's why I like to get those intelligent responses when we're using it. But yeah, I've seen some weird stuff.
So they were saying that how those dots are produced is from the energy that it's picking up EMF off of whatever they're shooting at. So there's no, the only first time that I ever saw any EMF being picked up on a tombstone was on one of your shows.
Right.
On one of your videos.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
Really?
And I'm not saying that just because I didn't see it, it shouldn't happen. I'm just saying that, that was a shock to think that could be, certain rock hold certain energies for sure.
Sure.
But I didn't see that happening. I couldn't.
Right.
So when that happened, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Greg.
No, when I saw that happen, it was like, wow. So I took that all into that cemetery, thinking that, when you hit a tombstone, that, if you got a figure by it, I don't think it's the tombstone. And like I said, when you shoot them all like that, without being redundant, and because I'm too new at that, we've used it over the years since it first came out in houses, and I've seen stick figures walking down the stairs and things like that were really cool. But now it seems that whole market is going to end, because if they don't get those sensors to replace those ones in those units they have, all the manufacturing's done on them.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a lost thing for too long. That's why you need to get some, because they're not going to produce those Xbox Connect forever. They're not going to produce all that, all that equipment. So it's like it's going to be one of those items. It's like the Panasonic RDR60. You're not going to be able to get.
You'll be paying $3,000 for it.
Yeah, you'll be paying a lot of money if you do get one.
You'll be robbing a bank to buy one.
Yeah. I've got a whole collection of those things, by the way.
Do you really?
I do, yeah.
What's your address?
Yeah, I've got quite a few Panasonic RDR60s. I've actually got two still brand new in the package that's never been opened. And now I've got a couple that I use and test out. So,
where did you get those? Just out of curiosity.
Well, actually,
private people.
Yeah, I actually got the one of my Panasonic RDR60s in the package. Yeah, from a private individual up in Canada, and he wants to remain anonymous, but he is also the creator of the Panabox. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Panabox before.
Yeah.
He helped create the Panabox, and me and him were talking and stuff. We were talking about that stuff, and I told him how I collect all this paranormal stuff, and he goes, "Well, I've got one of these in the package." And I was like, "Okay." So kind of took it from there, but yeah, one of these nights I need to do a show and like show everybody my collection of weird stuff. But yeah, Luke, you were going to say something back along the lines with the SLS camera. What were you going to? Did you have a question?
Yeah, I think that same night that you picked up something sent the piano there at the church too. I believe a stick figure is on the piano.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah, it was like on the bench, wasn't it? Like it was playing. I couldn't remember. I think so. Yeah, that was the same church. Yeah, it was pretty weird. I'll tell you what, churches are active. You know, people wouldn't think that, churches would be paranormally active, but churches are some of the most haunted places I've ever seen as far as like communication goes with EVP, ghost box sessions, ITC sessions. We've got a church up north. I'm not going to name it, and not many people know about it, but it's an abandoned church that we go to, and we have permission. And the ITC sessions and the intelligent responses we get in there are just unbelievable. I mean, it just, we get everything from like, I'll say, "Is there anybody here tonight?" It'll go "preacher," just instantly say "preacher" over the ghost box. And, we just get intelligent responses all the time in there regarding, where we're at, it shows that, they're actually listening and intelligently communicating because it corresponds with the location we're at. It's all church related stuff. They'll say, talk about the Bible. They'll say reverend, preacher, Sunday. I mean, just multiple things have came across the ghost box. So it's pretty cool. I mean,
if they start going ahead and saying things like Psalms 42-something,
that would be kind of weird and cool.
Pulling out the book, trying to figure out what's going to happen next.
Yeah, no kidding. I have got a lot of reference to the Bible, though. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad in EVP. Like I actually got an EVP one time. I had a recorder up on a tombstone. You know how some of the old tombstones had an open Bible on top of them, like the stone. Right. I put it up on there, and sometimes I've got like anti-religious stuff, and sometimes I've got pro-religious stuff. But this occasion, I got a voice that said, "Don't read the Bible." I mean, just plain as day. It was just like, "Don't read the Bible." I was like, okay. And so that was kind of creepy. I've got like no God. I mean, I've got no God like multiple times. Like I've recorded like in old churches and stuff. And like one time we were up in a church called Restitution Church, and we had like 5 or 6 of us up there. And the wind started howling outside when we were doing the CVP session. It sounded like stuff started swirling because there's a lot of debris and like leaves and stuff inside the church. It was kind of abandoned. Stuff started swirling inside the church, and we played the recorder back. And again, I got a voice that's just a real weird, like deep voice saying again, "No God." It was like, "No God." And like I was like, you wonder if they're trying to mess with you, these, you don't know what to make a contact with here, but
is that like no God or like no God?
Yeah.
Versus the NO.
It's time to put on the hockey helmet.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I think we got a question for you out there, Greg, from one of the viewers. Hold on. Does Greg's people ever have the issue with feeling ill like Courtney and her friends more than one occasion? Yeah. I don't know if you watched our episode from Pine Lawn Manor the other night, our investigation, but Courtney Bowen, one of my team members, got sick. I think Courtney Mendenhall, she got sick. Katie got sick, didn't she, Luke?
Yeah, it's kind of like a domino effect. It just seemed like it happened to one person and then the next person.
I felt like I had like all I can describe it as is like popcorn, and Amanda had it happen to her, and she described it the same way, like something caught in your throat or being choked. I mean, not like a hand, just physically squeezing you tight, but like something inside your throat, like something caught, choking you. My eyes started watering, and Amanda had the same thing happen. But yeah, multiple people in that investigation started feeling ill and sick there, and I wonder, like, who knows? There may be black mold and asbestos in there, but I don't think it would affect us that quick. We were just in there like 30 minutes or to an hour when it started. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Have you? But the question was, I think, Greg, has any of your team members or anybody you've been with ever gotten sick like that, or more than one person?
Sharon's gotten sick. Nick, myself, different locations. A lot of times it was stomach. A lot of times it was breathing issues, headaches. A lot of headaches. A lot. When people talk about a paranormal hangover, that's what happens when you wake up the next morning, is that your whole head feel like you drank a case of something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're I haven't drank in a long time, and it's there, and it happens.
Yeah.
As far as the real crazy stuff with like people think that they got stabbed, they'll get a sharp pain. You'll see it on TV a lot. I haven't seen too much of that, but I know of people that I know, and I respect what they say, mm-hmm. from down in old South Pittsburgh Hospital in Tennessee.
Yeah.
You were there.
Yeah.
That place back in the day, before they got it all cleaned up, was a trash heap. And you talk about black mold and everything else that you could put into a place.
Yeah.
And I take a lot of antihistamines. I take a lot of things to help me breathe, because I am allergic to a lot of things.
Right.
So that place can skyrocket you. Back in the day, and now it's even got a different atmosphere now.
Yeah,
compared to what it did when the first time we were there.
Yeah, yeah. You think old Pittsburgh Hospital was more haunted before it was cleaned up?
It's not more haunted. It's literally that the whole mood, or the whole how could you say?
The atmosphere.
It was the atmosphere had gone from sort of bad to almost good, because now they are pretty good spirits.
Right.
There's not anybody there that you really, the first time we were there, we had it was just like dog claws on a tile floor, how they go along like that, and came around. It was in a corner, and you could hear it making these noises. And I saw the video and I saw the pictures, and there's a picture of something that looked like it almost had a human head that was, and had a black shadow figure body, and had these huge, like, hand claws. And it was like a dog, a very big dog. And it was like, that ain't there no more.
Was that after that? So you think that was there, and it's gone because, I mean, you think? Oh, go ahead.
The people that were coming in there were feeding it.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a lot of that negativity that was coming through there, and there were groups of people that probably shouldn't have been allowed to come in.
Yeah, that's really weird. You mentioned that, because like Pine Lawn Manor has, like, down here, has taught us a tremendous amount. I mean, I thought I knew a lot of stuff, but it's like, the more we investigate that place, it's like there's paranormal lessons in that place every night we go. It's always teaching us new stuff, and it's teaching us, things that we, thought maybe we knew, and now we know is actually truth, because like I mean, for one, I mean, it's completely verified to me that there is some sort of other side, because like the manifestation of all these objects that are taking place, they've got to be getting this, and it's got to be coming from somewhere. We're up to 70 some objects that have been thrown at us now over the course of several investigations, and we've got them all laid out and marked with time, date, where they took place, anything from marbles to like red, yellow, and blue plastic balls to rocks. A bead got thrown one night, and now more recently we were getting dice thrown at us. And it's weird because like dice is one of the things that coins, like pennies, quarters, rare coins are being thrown. And like the dice I asked for on previous investigations, I was like, come on, why don't you throw us some dice if you're real? We got dice now. It's just weird. And I think Greg, I think I sent you the video of the dice, didn't I? One of them appearing. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I would have wanted to have been there to see, because you guys were this way and it sort of came from back here. Didn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It came in sideways, actually, from where we were at.
Yeah.
And it didn't come from our direction. It came in sideways where nobody was at. And but it happens, like, I would say, let's say we go to Pine Lawn 3 times a week. It happens at least once out of every 3 times we go. It's not every night, but it's almost every night. If you go to Pine Lawn Manor 3 nights in a row or 3 different investigations, and do not see something that just completely changes your life, then something's wrong. Because that's how bad it or crazy it is there, all this stuff that's taking place. And like, I've got to get you down here, Greg. I mean, you got to see this stuff. Like, I want to show so many people, what's going on in there, and like show them, that this is real and this is happening. Because like, have you ever experienced anything like what we're reporting there? I mean, like all the stuff being thrown and dice and coins. I mean, this is a regular basis. It's not like, oh, it happened once, on Halloween back in 19 whatever. This is happening every night almost.
That's a real lot.
Yeah. It's like at least 1 out of 3. I could probably, that's what I said, we'll rate it at that. 1 out of 3 times you go there, it happens for sure. But we're to the point now that we can predict it, because like we've watched the moon phases, and when we think it's going to happen, and now we're just going on the nights that we think it's going to happen, and it usually does. It seems to follow the new and full moon cycles, like 3 days before and after the new moon's a good time, and then 3 days before and on the full moon's a good time to go. So
which one does it happen more on? Have you figured that out?
It's kind of random, but it seems they're more on the full moon. And I think that's due to it being an old nursing home for the mentally disabled. If you talk to anybody in healthcare, even EMTs, first responders, ER nurses, the full moon nights were always the craziest. They're always like, something's going on. People are going crazy. There's more calls those nights. People act weird. The full moon has an influence on all of us, including the ghosts and spirits. So it's like, I think that's why Pine Lawn is so active, during the full moon cycle. It's just like, because it was an old, basically a nursing home for the mentally disabled. And, it's just got a lot of activity. But it's random, though. We've had stuff happen on nights that weren't the full moon also. So it's like, but mostly full moon and new moon is the best time to be in there for sure.
Mm-hmm. Have you had coins come through the wall?
Oh yeah. We had coins actually physically come through a wall, and we had like multiple witnesses. I wouldn't even be talking about this stuff if we haven't had gobs and gobs of people witness it with us. We had our public tours in there, 28 to 30 people. And it seems like the more people that gets going in there, the more it goes crazy. It's not like one of those places where if you only 2 people show up, you start to see and hear stuff. This is like, it's like it feeds off of energy. And
they're showing off.
Yeah. And when you get a skeptic, like if you get a skeptic in there, man, I guarantee it's going to happen. Because it likes
That's why I said you or messaged you that business after that was happening, that you were receiving your reawakening.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And that's the thing that refuels you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Especially in you guys' position where you're out there in the streets how many days a week?
Yeah. I know. That's what I'm saying. We investigate all the time. We're going, at least 2-3 times a week. Sometimes, weekends, like, we're out investigating a lot. You get burnt out. You get to the point where it's like, why am I doing this?
and then you get a coin that comes right out of a wall.
Exactly. Yeah. Tell you the truth, before I found Pylon Manor, I was just like, this is boring. We keep going to these places and never find anything. Nothing ever happens, and we can debunk everything we find. And it's like you start to question, are ghosts and spirits even real? Is this all just, my imagination? Is the stuff I've experienced in the past, which, out of 25 years, you may have 10 things that stick out in your mind that was like, oh my God, I can't explain that, because like I try to debunk everything, but you go to Pylon Manor and it's every night you can't debunk everything. Mm-hmm. Every night you go there, pretty much, at least 1 out of 3, you're going to find stuff and see stuff that just totally blows your mind. And it's like, I can't explain it.
I feel like it's something new every time too. Like we're starting to get footsteps now and bells. We got the bells.
Oh yeah,
they're getting bolder.
Yeah.
Talk about it, Luke. Talk about what you've experienced. You're new. and like what you've seen and heard there. I mean,
from definitely watching like the first live feed that you guys were there. I mean, it went from basically knock, just your typical noises that you've heard there, and then I feel like ever since you guys cleaned it up, I mean, I think that they're a lot more appreciative, and they like that you cleaned it up. So now they have more room to roll through the hallways, to get out to the hallways and kind of do whatever. And then, like Halloween night was the first night I went there, and then that quarter popping out. I mean, it popped out of that wall, and it just sounded like a handful of change just got dumped, but came flying out of the wall, curved. To actually turn my light on, I saw it flying through the air, so that was pretty wild. And then the marble, coming out from basically that door between your legs.
Yeah.
And to me, I feel like they're very intelligent, because they're asking, like you said, you have dice and they're throwing dice. We asked for knocks. I mean, now it's to the point. I mean, to me, the last couple of times we've been there, it's been 3 marbles, 3 dice. Like they're starting to throw more at once, And especially this past weekend, during our second live video, not much happened, but at the end, I mean, it sounded like a dinner bell, like ding, ding, like went off, and that was weird. That was probably about as weird as the walking sound up in the attic, where it turned from that shuffling sound to little tiny footsteps to stomps in the attic.
Wow.
So yeah, I was pretty that was pretty freaky on that one.
Yeah.
That'll get you coming and going.
Yeah.
Sure. It's really bizarre. Like he's saying, it keeps intensifying. Like I don't know what's gonna happen next. It's awesome. That's what keeps me going too. It's like this place is like completely put a fire in me. I mean, it's like, it's like it's throwing more than one thing. It started out and like it was a gradual increase of stuff, Greg. Like when we first started going in there, we were hearing things but not seeing it materialize. It was like residual. We would hear rocks and I couldn't explain it. I was like, what was that? Like I'd hear it in a room, like bounce around, but find no object. And come to find out what I know now, that was probably marbles being thrown, because that's what they throw the most. And they just weren't materializing. And the more we went in there, now objects are materializing, and it just keeps getting stronger and stronger. It started out with 1 or 2 marbles. Now we may get 17 marbles a night. And 3 at a time, it'll throw like 3 marbles at once, 3 dice at once. It's just unbelievable. We've been hit like not hurt though. Like it'll tap you on the legs. Like me and Trish, we get tapped a lot. It's really weird. It'll tap us on the legs, and like we'll be sitting kind of close to each other, and like I look over and like I thought maybe she's trying to get my attention, but I noticed her hands weren't moving. And she said the same thing about me, thought I was tapping her on the leg. And at the same time, a little red ball gets dropped on us. A little plastic ball like gets dropped like basically in our lap and falls on the floor after something taps us. And it's like, so it can physically make contact with people. It touches you all the time. It can hit a wind chime. We seen a spare tire, like a donut tire, move 1.5 feet from the wall, get moved and fall over. It's hit things like a pile. And like sometimes the marbles fly with such force that they hit the wall hard. Like the shooter marble put a dent in the wall. But it doesn't seem like it tries to hurt you, though, because a lot of times it will go around you. It will go under you. It won't like hit anybody hard in the face. Like people have been like had coins dropped on them, like a quarter dropped on their head or something. And like, but that's, nothing physical to where it's going to try to hurt you. It's just trying to, say, look at me and what I can do.
Yeah, and the ball in that Amanda's hat was.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I saw that.
That was
that was on that video too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It was so weird. So weird because I was joking with Amanda. She had a pencil sticking out of her ear. And, I was sitting on the chair and I'm like, did it stick that pencil in your ear too, Amanda? Just giving her heck, And that's, I think, what made her went to go reach for her hat. Because I said, like, did it stick you in the head with that pencil? Just joking with her. And she goes like that, and her eyes got real big like that. And she's like, she pulls a yellow ball out of like her stocking cap, fold her cap, it's in there. And like, went back and viewed it, and in no time can you see anything enter that hat. Like, you don't see it move. You don't see anything go into it. She doesn't put it there. Like, we went back and reviewed the video.
Yeah, she didn't even feel it. I mean, she reached around the back of her head, and there it was.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And the letters, too. The letters spelling out dead. That Diana.
Oh, yeah. We arranged letters, Greg. Like, we put, like, letters to see if they would spell their names on a table. Because, a lot of them were physical, they would do, they would try to do things that they like physical activity and stuff during their physical activity sessions they would do with them. Well, we kept telling you, spell your name when we leave. We lock this place up when we leave. We put padlocks on it. And we know the combination. Nobody else does. And we come back in the next investigation, and dead is spelled out in the letters. And if you look, it says no in front of it, like no dead, like almost like it was trying to say not dead or something. But it says no and then dead, and dead are all in the same letters, like the same color. It's bizarre. Yeah, you gotta come down, Greg.
Yep.
Yeah, and the marbles just. Like people like going like asking for, hey, can you give me a quarter to take home or a marble to take home? And they put it in the car, under the seat, in your suitcase. Heck, that one night we were leaving and nobody caught it. And there was a marble sitting on that desk right by the door after we left, and we came back and found it.
Yeah. Diana's talking about the guy. Oh, go ahead, Greg.
No, I was just wondering, do you play any games there? Do you actually do you go ahead and play games with the marbles? Do you get in a ring and shoot marbles and see if they join?
No, well, kind of yes and no. I believe everything on the floor is evidence. You tape it when it falls and not touch it. And then at the end of the night, we kind of laughed and we said, well, it's bag and tag time, guys. We'll pick everything up that's happened during the night, and we'll photograph it. We'll mark where it was at, put the time, the date, and everything, so we know where exactly that marble or object or coin fell. And then we put it in a plastic Ziploc bag, and we've got it laid out on the table there. It was pretty cool. We got a whole collection of items. But the last night, the night we were in there, when I got there late, Amanda and them, I guess, had came up with the idea. They were trying to play a game with them. They sat on one end of the hallway, and then some of the other team members sat on the other end of the hallway, and they were trying to see if the ghosts or spirits, which side they could throw the most marbles to, So they're like, come on, throw marbles to us, They were trying to get them, and it actually started happening. Like they would throw them that way, and then I got there, and I was like, I didn't get to see the first two. And I was like, okay, I'm here, guys. I want to win this game. Can you throw them toward my side? And like 3 got thrown at me almost 35 seconds after I said that.
Wow.
I mean, it was pretty weird.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I'd never seen anything like it. I mean, if somebody else told me this, I would not believe it. And I would say, you guys are crazy. You're making this up. You guys are doing this. But I'm telling you, this is flat. We've had too many people in there witness it, and too many people have seen it happen, and everybody says it's coming from nowhere. It's like, that's what I'm watching. I look at people, make sure they're not throwing it. We check our pockets. Another thing we're going to start doing on the live feed is as we go in, we're going to all dump our pockets every night and show people we don't have anything going on, don't have anything on us. And if somebody leaves the building, upon re-entry of the building, they're getting their pockets checked, just to show the public and everything that, nobody has anything on them. And
did you find anything out about the money, about the time, about the dates? Did you get any correlations between the dates at all?
Some of the dates correspond with years of Pine Lawn when it was open, and some of them don't. So we're getting 2020 quarters and pennies thrown at us even. And we're getting as far back as 1940. We've got Canadian 5-cent pieces, like the Beaver Canadian 5-cent piece thrown at us. A back quarter from 2020 that I guess is pretty rare. We got wheat pennies thrown at us. It's just a variety of years and different types of coins. Oh, I asked for a Susan B. Anthony one night because I was like, why don't you throw us a Susan B. Anthony to show us you're real or whatever, because nobody's going to have one of those on them. And Susan B. Anthony fell out of the sky. I mean, we've got all these things. It's just unbelievable. And the quarter, the Canadian 5-cent piece, came because a guy was skeptical. And he said, well, if you're here, why don't you throw a foreign coin? And that's when the Canada 5-cent piece showed up and flew at us. Mm-hmm. So it's so intelligent. It's unbelievable. I mean, trying to read the comments. Said maybe they played marbles as an activity. And then Debbie Fletcher says, do we think they're going to eventually get mean? Do you think in time they will get mean like some are? I don't know. I think they would have already. I don't think they're going to get mean because we respect them kind of. And, I think they respect us too. I think the guy got kicked. I don't know what his emotions were, or his, whether he was negative or positive, but, he could have been kicked due to his persona or the way he went in there too. Maybe he was thinking negative. I don't know. We had one guy kicked and taken out by ambulance during one of our tours. So weird stuff.
That doesn't seem to fit the bill.
Yeah.
Does it?
No, it doesn't seem to fit the bill as to what happens to us. Nothing's ever, stuff makes contact with us, but it never tries to harm us. Like Luke said, a quarter flew at my face, and before it hit my face, it made a curve. It was like it couldn't hit me. It threw it right here, and then it curved and went the other direction. You can physically see this thing fly through the air and curve when it went toward me. And same thing with the shooter marble. It went in between me and Trish, like it wouldn't hit us and put a dent in the wall. Like nothing like that's been thrown hard has ever hit us. It's like it can't for some reason. I'm hoping. Let's hope it can't hit us like that.
I don't think I'd feel too good.
Next time on another episode, I'm gonna have a black eye.
Shooter marble got me.
But yeah, back to your stuff, Greg. We'll get you down here. Maybe you and Kelly can come down and check it out.
Oh yeah, I hope so. That's all I can do right now. With the way everything's going right now, if we can get away.
Yeah.
Christmas.
So you sent me some pictures. Sorry, I didn't interrupt you.
No.
You had sent me some cool pictures. You want to talk about those?
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna try to find them real quick. Okay, I'm gonna post them, and then you can talk about. I hope you can see them. I couldn't even see them pop up earlier, but Luke, if you see them or you guys can see them, let me know. But I'm gonna post a picture of the guy holding the fish, Greg.
Oh, that was just for you.
Okay. Hold on.
It's me.
He's just showing off.
Yeah, I don't know if you wanted that one. Hold on. Okay, I'll post the one with the circle in it. So, okay, you ready? This is
okay. This is one of two pictures from Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. This picture was taken 5 years before I took my picture, and this is a nurse. You can see the outline inside there of a woman in sort of a nurse type outfit. The head's up in the corner, and you can see her shoulder come out, and she comes down. And now, if you really pay attention to the bottom of the screen, right above where it says, you see something down below that's like a white type of image. And some people think that that's a cat.
okay.
So this nurse that lived in this room and has been known to be there over the years died there, and that's her cat that died there too. So let's go to the other one. This was taken 5 years, like I said, before I took my picture, and my picture's in here a little later on, I think.
Okay, which one do you want next?
If you got the other one with the apparition in the doorway.
Okay.
Okay, this one here, this is that same nurse.
Okay.
And this was taken in a series of IR shots in the boiler room, and I was just fanning and shooting. And I had nothing on any of the other ones. And this was the last picture that showed up out of all the pictures I took at Old South Pittsburgh. Now you can see her, she's sort of looking down to the side. And if you look real carefully down on the bottom in front of her, right at the edge of the first step, you can see a cat. Can you see the cat?
Yeah, I see the head, and it looks like the pointy ears on it. I can definitely see that.
That's her cat again. I took this picture 3 years ago now, 4 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And when I first showed this to Stan Soho, who was in GRS, he went ahead and he says he's going to send me this picture. And he sent me the other one that we just looked at before this.
Uh-huh.
And he says, I think you'll find this really interesting because this picture was taken 5 years ago upstairs in her room.
Oh, wow.
And there were things. Go ahead.
Is that the other picture you sent me, or is that
the one that we first had the outline around the figure that one there?
Okay.
You could see her, and then you could see down at the bottom, you could see the cat, the head of the cat.
Yep. It's a switch here in a minute for the people out there. It's a little slow tonight.
Now, I know there's a lot of people that will start talking pareidolia. You know, and it's just the feeling you get when you go ahead and you sort of start to study a picture, the feeling you can get off it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what makes this really interesting. Whether it is it or isn't, there's a lot of things that seem to bear in the same direction that we're taking 5 years apart. So,
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's pretty weird. And you say that was at South Pittsburgh?
This is upstairs. This was upstairs on the 3rd floor, Jason.
Right. Yeah.
Down the 2nd room to the end, or 3rd room to the end.
Is that where we?
I think her name was Nellie. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I think that's where we went. Yeah, we went into that room and tried to communicate with her. I think it was just me and you in there for a long time.
Yeah, that was the end room, and she frequents from there to the 3rd room down, which was actually the room that she lived until she died.
Oh wow, yeah, yeah, that's a cool place. I'll tell you what, the staff there is unbelievable. I really enjoyed the staff. You know, like they were just really good at like bringing your equipment in for you, helping you, all kinds of stuff. I mean, the staff there's incredible.
You know, Ronnie D is a great man. You know, he's a great guy. I know him. He lives up here in Fox Lake, and he owns it. And he's done an exceptional job. You know, they removed something like 11 industrial-sized dumpsters before they actually were able to get in there and do any work.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like what we're going to have to do at Pine Lawn, I think. I don't know if it's going to be that many, but there's a lot of junk there too. We got to clean up. We've cleaned a bunch of it up, but
what's the status? What's the status on that place?
Well, right now, I mean, we're kind of managing it, and it's been offered to us to buy, and we're still talking it over right now in the negotiation stages and everything. But we're kind of managing it as of right now, and you know, doing the haunted tours and investigations in there. We've cleaned the heck out of it. I mean, we've cleaned up junk in there. Amanda and Ed Reese, Amanda Routon and Ed Reese, a couple of my team members went in. They cleaned the heck out of it. But what happened was, like, it closed down in December of 2005. And since then, a lot of squatters had moved in, and they'd allowed some, like, you know, I wouldn't call them homeless people, but they allowed some people to come in there and stay. And there's a lot of stuff left behind, like a lot of clothes. It's like the people who stayed there just left all their belongings in some of the rooms, like just piles of clothes and junk. So we're still trying to clean all that out. We're trying to separate what was originally from the Pine Lawn Manor days and what was from the squatters or the people that rented it. I wouldn't say all of them are squatters. I guess they rented them as apartments a little bit too after 2005. But we're trying to separate, you know, the stuff that happened after Pine Lawn from the stuff that was there during Pine Lawn, so we can keep it, the Pine Lawn Manor stuff there and on display. And so that's where we're at right now with it. But
I think the cleaner you get with it, the nicer the disposition is going to be.
Right. Yeah.
The whole atmosphere is going to change.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And like, I think they've seen us clean, and, you know, the ghosts and spirits know we're trying to help the place and trying to clean it. And I've even told them, I was like, if you guys want me to buy this place, let me know, you know. And then they start throwing coins. And I think it's almost a hint to me, like, you need to buy this place. Because, you know, they keep throwing coins at us and money and, like, just different stuff. So it's really weird. And I think I've still got the picture on the screen now to go away.
I was wondering if you're just leaving that up there. There you
go. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I left the.
Looks still here.
Sorry, guys. I left the picture up there a little longer than what I thought. It's going to be going off there here in a minute. There's probably a little lag in it, but
no, it's off.
Okay, good deal. But yeah. Great. So I think I've got another picture I'm going to throw up there, though. It looks like it's maybe, I don't know. You got some video? I don't think so. You want me to put it up? And it looks like a picture of, like, maybe. Here, I'll ask you to explain what it is. It looks like the orbs maybe in there, some, like, energy.
Okay. I wanted you to see what you thought about this. This is a picture that was taken at Elgin Casket Company in
Okay.
Elgin. This is the casket factory that actually did the caskets for JFK.
Oh, that's cool.
When Kennedy died, there's a casket up on the side there. We had a lot of activity going on at this point, and I was shooting down this hallway here with an IR camera. And these were like, when you see this, you know, there's a lot of detail that's missing now because of how many times this has been put back up on the screen.
Right.
But you see those almost appear to be fireflies.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
You have some pictures of some graves and that where you see something close to this. And
yeah.
I thought it was some sort of activity where there was a distribution of the energy that was, it was sort of bursting.
Yeah.
Because it almost looked like a damn flare.
Right. Now that's a shot from an IR camera.
Yes.
Like an IR video camera, an IR still camera, like a
still camera.
A still cam. Okay. Yeah, that's weird. You know, generally when you get streaks like that, I mean, you have to have some type of object usually in front of the lens and some type of light source to cause a streak like that. Like you say, like generally if you were outside, maybe lightning bugs and movement of the camera caused it. But since that's inside, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's weird. You know, I don't know what type of object or light source would have caused it. You know, unless I don't know.
Right after that, we picked up a stick figure over by an electrical box that was disconnected, and one of the guys asked the stick figure to turn on the switch on the box.
Yeah.
And what came across on the obelisk was no power.
Oh wow.
That's
cool.
So they knew. And that was the same time this was all going on too.
That's pretty weird. Yeah, I don't know. Like I say, outside I've seen bugs cause that, but not inside like that, you know, like lightning bugs. But usually, I mean, that looks like they're illuminated, maybe illuminated by the IR light or something, or the light on the camera. But it's like, that's weird. Definitely.
That's crazy.
Pretty cool.
So that little figure that kind of looks like a hat there, are you guys talking like the lights that are around it, or?
No, I think you're talking about aren't you talking about the objects in motion, Greg?
Is that what you're talking about, Luke?
Yeah, because I thought I was looking at a shadow. I thought with the hat on.
Oh,
I didn't see that. I just took it away. Sorry.
see that then we're dealing with pareidolia again. You know.
Yeah.
It's just what's tricking us into believing is really there.
Yeah.
But shadow figures are hard to debunk, I think.
Yeah.
When they move. That's for sure.
So
see if you got that picture of that doll on there. Do you have the one on the doll that's sitting on the chair with the Yeti meter?
I thought that was a video. Was that a video?
If you could just put that picture up, we could talk about that.
I don't think I've got it. Yeah, because
okay.
I think it tried to send it as a video or something. I can upload that one.
I
apologize.
No, that's okay. I wish I could have that up because that was something.
Cool.
Yeah. That was a doll. Luke, there was a doll that this is at Posttown Elementary School, and Posttown has a lot of little people in there, and they're all around in the building. And we were upstairs, and I would set up an IR camera And what I was doing was I had the doll sitting on one of those little plastic chairs.
Mm-hmm.
And in front of the doll, I had this eddy meter set up with it on. And what happened is I just filmed it, and I couldn't see anything happening. And I got home, to review the video and everything. And the doll's leg was sticking out on the one side. And there was just a little section of toe showing on the doll, and the meter blocked the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sort of said, well, I'm not going to sit here for 3.5 hours. I'll sort of skip a little bit. And when I started to skip on the video, I could see more of the foot exposed. And out of that whole entire time, it took on the video, it took 27 minutes, I think, for whatever it was to move that eddy meter 14 inches on that chair.
That's pretty awesome.
The eddy meter has got that rubber boot on it, and it was a plastic chair. So it wasn't like it had some resistance to it, and it moved it.
Huh.
Yeah. I watched it. It's pretty cool. That was pretty neat because I have no explanation for that. It moved it for sure.
And that was the same time. Well, we were all at Mansfield. You didn't go with us.
Yeah.
You were just at Mansfield, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Mansfield.
That was that. That was at Mansfield.
No, this was at Post Town.
Okay, yeah.
The day before we were at Mansfield.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where you guys were.
I don't remember where we were at that day, but yeah, we were at Mansfield's reformatory with you guys.
Right.
We didn't get a lot at Mansfield, but I got some weird stuff at Brush Mountain Penitentiary this summer, over there. Out at that D block, me and Courtney heard what sounded like a door opening and slamming at D block, Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary. And I caught it on the live feed and I caught it on my recorder, and all those doors are welded shut. So it was a residual sound of one of those doors opening and slamming. And I went around to every jail, like every cell in that prison block, looked at them. They're all like fastened or welded shut. So I don't know what caused that.
Yeah, I remember that video.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Some crazy stuff in that place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh. So have you started to use any of the Estes method at your new place?
Oh yeah, we've experimented with that for years. I mean, we've been doing that for a long time, and like trying to experiment with that method. We were getting back for that. You still there, Greg?
Yeah.
Screen for a minute. Yeah, we were messing with that method like way back a long time ago before people started calling it that. Do that experiment blindly, each other, put earphones in. I mean, all types of different stuff. And we can use Faraday cages over the ghost box and a lot of different stuff. Experiment with different variations of it. But yeah, I think that it's a very good method. I mean, I think we've had some good results with it. People ask questions. And, I've been blindfolded. I've had, the stuff on my ears, everything. And people ask a question somewhere and I'll talk and, respond. And that would be a complete answer to the question they ask. I mean, it's just a lot of weird stuff. But yeah, we've experimented with it. Are you still doing it a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll keep on doing that. I want to do it with the portal.
Yeah.
Instead of the spirit box, and see how that goes.
I thought you could not try that with the portal at the South Pittsburgh. I thought we were going to try that. Did we not?
We were going to do it, and then it got too late, and I was pretty tired to go ahead and turn on that portal, and you channel is the only way I can tell you. You know, when you do a lot of that channeling, it really wears on you.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
So, Greg, what I got down here too? What's the craziest thing you've ever seen? I mean, what's or I guess the best evidence you've ever captured or seen, or I guess you can call it craziest thing.
I haven't had I don't have any witnesses. It's something that I saw myself.
Right.
And it's associated with northern Wisconsin again. And it's in a lodge up there that we've been going to for like 50 years. And the main part of the lodge is the old original log cabin, 2-story. All the rooms were upstairs, and it had a big dining room downstairs and a place to relax and tables to play, double fireplace. And I watched the lights go off and on in there after I turned them off. And I know who was doing it. And I have talked to this spirit, and it's the guy that actually the lake was named after, who started it all up there, and he's still there. And there is a story associated with that happening, and that's they had a big kitchen, and they had a big butcher block table, and they'd have the girls make up the salads in the late afternoon. It's still daylight out, and they'd be making the salads, and all of a sudden what happened was they had 3 girls that had been around the spirit for quite some time, and they had a new girl, and the new girl was dicing up stuff, and all of a sudden the girl on the other side of the table sort of got whiffed at across her back by, and they said, "Harry, don't do that." And then Harry went all the way around the table and got to the other side and proceeded to go ahead and take this girl's pigtails and flip them right up like this and hold them up behind her head. She quit the job, and she went all the way back to Europe, where she came from, because of that happening. And I've been doing spirit box sessions with him. I did a one-man Estes, which is really hard to do with a recorder, trying to pick this kind of stuff up.
Yeah.
And from what I picked up, he lost his head on his wedding day. And this is the true story. He operated the mill, and he was at the mill on his wedding day in the morning, and there was an accident, and he lost his head. So he stayed there, and he was up there at the main house, and he'll do things with his shoes. Back in the day when they had those rooms, they used to always leave their shoes outside the rooms. Be like 10 or 12 rooms where people would sleep. And then, you went downstairs to eat and everything. And
right.
And now today, the last couple of years, every time he's around, he'll go, somehow he knows where the shoes are. He goes way back into the corner of this closet. I can't even see the shelf. It's that high up. And he grabs his shoes and he puts them outside the door. And then when the girls are making up the beds, if he doesn't want the bed to be made up, he slams the door and goes in there, and they could hear somebody, like it sounds like they're having a fun time on the bed with the springs going up and down. And it's Harry messing up the bed.
Yeah.
And then they'll go walking in there and open up the door, and it's like, what the heck? You can't do this, Harry. But
yeah,
it's a lot. It's not something that's really, Luke, that's something that's really threatening. Or I was scared to death at Old South Pittsburgh and at Mansfield on the East Cell Block. And you remember the challenge that we had that night? To walk
Mansfield around
in the dark.
Yeah, in the dark. Yep.
I was going to be the first guy, and then I can't remember what her name was. Her sister wanted to do it first, and I says, "Okay,
Yeah.
If it's going to happen, it's going to happen to you, And we'd have to walk all the way around the cell block, and we were 3 or 4 stories up in the air, and all that was on the outside of the walkway were metal posts and a steel cable, and then it was a sheer drop down to the bottom.
Yeah.
And you're doing it in pitch darkness.
They wouldn't let you bring a flashlight.
Oh, well, I had a recorder. That's the only light I had. I had it down behind me because I had somebody following me. So I had footsteps behind me, and I'd stop, and they'd stop, and then I'd start up again, and they'd start up, and then I was waiting for somebody to come flying out of one of those cells, and then I got touched in the corner where all those they were gay guys. That's where they kept all the gay guys together in the corner so that they would be protected, because otherwise they would be annihilated, I guess. But that was all on that one run, and we'd get around there. When you did it, what did you experience?
Well, I think I was the only one that completed it or did it for my team. No one else would do it, but I'd done it. And what I thought was weird, I didn't have a flashlight either. We went around, or I was walking around, and I kept getting the mental image of hands reaching out at me through those bars. As I was walking through, I would get the mental image. I didn't physically see it, but in my mind, I was seeing these hands just coming at me, through the prison cell, through the bars as I was walking around making my lap. And it was freaky, I'm telling you. I didn't let Courtney do it. In Courtney's defense, she wanted to do it, but I didn't let her because she falls over nothing. So I didn't want her to fall 3 stories off this prison, off this prison thing.
It wouldn't be good.
So I said, "You're not doing." I didn't let her do that because there's too many stairs and darkness. Because she would have been dead.
Yeah, that's where I was touched, down in the corner there, where those guys were. When I came around the corner, I got touched on the back of my leg, up by my butt. And we couldn't tell anybody when we got back what had happened to us until everybody had done it. And then it was everybody found out what everybody had experienced. And there were quite a few people that were touched.
Right.
And I've been touched before, but I mean, to have it in pitch darkness like that is a little different.
Right. Yeah, because you guys can't turn a light on.
Oh, yeah, it was creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had no lights. They wouldn't let us take them.
And it kept on getting darker and darker and darker. If it could do that, it was really dark up there. You remember how dark it was? God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was real dark. I mean, I had to feel going around that one corner to even feel where the rails were at, not to fall off. I mean, it was pretty bad.
We
were 3 stories up.
Yeah, at least, maybe 4. I think the library, we were coming out of the library, right?
I think so, building? Yeah.
And that whole East Cell Block, it's something right out of the movie Alien. How the cells go, and there's 6 or 7 tiers, I think, in there.
Yeah, I think isn't it one of the tallest tiers? Yeah. Isn't that the tallest one in the United States, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where the Shawshank Redemption was filmed, wasn't it?
Yeah. I was on the west part all by myself, and I had my recorder going, and I was walking along, and I'd have a flashlight, and every once in a while I would just hit it, and that's when I was getting hit with the pebbles.
Yeah.
And I started to come around the corner, and they had these cardboard cutouts of the guys from Shawshank. So I ran right into Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky I didn't have to go to the bathroom, because I would have went right then and there.
Yeah, you guys had to be there to find that funny, because there's literally cardboard cutouts of those people, around there, and like, it's freaky. You just turn the corner, and then there's like, there's a guy like in your face.
Total darkness, and you run into that. Like,
yeah. Yeah, that's pretty freaky.
It was a great place.
Yeah. Well, Greg, I think we're at like 2 hours and 45 minutes. I usually go 2 hours, but we've been talking a while. But before we get off here, I want to have you back soon, Greg. We can talk more, and I want to get those videos posted, and definitely have you guest again.
I'm sorry they didn't come through like that. I wish the heck, because to see the Eddy meter move in front there, and understand that it's some little kid that wanted to move the meter out of the way to grab the dowel.
Right.
The way I interpreted it, it was like, that was really special.
Oh yeah, that was cool. That's a cool video. I'll try to get it uploaded onto here, and then on the next time I have you on, I can definitely play it. So
yeah, I don't know if you have trouble with it, get back to me. I don't know, maybe if I send it on an email, do you think it would make a difference?
Yeah, email would probably be better, actually. I think I can pull it off an email.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely send it by email next time. And I'll try to save it to my computer. But while I got you on here too, why don't you tell everybody out there about your show real quick, and when it comes on, so everybody can jump over and watch your show. It's on Friday nights, correct?
Friday nights. Now all of our shows for the whole entire week come on at 7:00.
Okay.
And all the way across the whole entire week, we have our Oracle card readings by Sharon on Tuesday. Scotty Rourke, psychic medium, he's on Wednesday with a haunted show that he does, and interviews friends of his. Thursday, Devin Evans, she's a psychic medium, and she's the representative for the Ohio chapter of Shadowhunters. Yeah. So she's there, and then I'm on Friday, and my show is basically composed of people that I've had the pleasure of investigating with and build up a friendship over the years.
Right.
With a lot of these people, and they're great people, and I just have a lot of fun. Definitely. As long as we have no technical difficulties.
Right. Yeah. I have to deal with that here too. I deal with internet problems, technical. It's bad. So there's been times I couldn't do the show even.
Kelly Griffey, who's on here, Kelly is exceptional. I call her my wingman because we'll get ready to do the show, and it's like, I can't make it work.
Yeah.
And all I have to do is call her up in like 5 minutes, and that would have been great for us too. The night you were on,
Sure. Yeah.
The same kind of thing. And it's all what it makes it all happen. And
right.
It's great to know that you guys are way down there, in the bottom of Illinois, and I'm way up at the border.
Yeah.
And we could get together and we could shoot whenever we want and
right.
Have a great time, So
yep, definitely. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Hey Kelly, if you're watching out there, Kelly's pretty cool. She's a good investigator too. So
she's a multi-talented individual, to say the least, with all the stuff that she does.
Yeah, definitely.
She's really something.
But what's your website that you do that show from? Kind of plug it a little for everybody so they can get on.
Got Shadowhunters, Paranormal Investigations, and Events page.
Shadowhunters, Paranormal Investigations, and Event page.
Yeah, and you go to Shadow Hunters, you'll find that. You go there, and pretty much all our shows are on there. Some of them are YouTube, and some of them are StreamYard or Streamlit or whatever it is.
Yeah. There's Kelly. Hey, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly. Awesome lady.
I was laughing, though, at Diana Woodward's comment. She said, who else can say they ran into Morgan Freeman in the dark? Pretty true.
We were going in that direction that night, too. And, we had to, yeah. But we weren't really getting into it like we could have got.
Yeah. If I run into that at Pine Lawn, Greg, I'm done.
I was going to put Cat Snyder up there.
Yeah.
The only thing I could add that I think is of vital importance is how many times we've been on investigations, and all of a sudden, say for instance, a bat will come into play. You come in swooping in, and then all of a sudden the girls just start to scream, and it's like, what? Stop it! You're contaminating all the evidence.
Yeah.
That's when something's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
They'll come in and grab your coat. They could walk with big cloudy shoes across the floor and make all that noise, and nobody would even hear it. So.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah. But that's neat. It's been a pleasure to be with you guys. Luke, it's great to meet you.
Hey, yeah, it's good to meet you, Greg.
You guys are really exceptional. Jason, you got a great show.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Greg. You too. I enjoy your show, and hopefully I can be on there again. You can be on here. I'm going to definitely have you back on, and we'll talk some more about, your stuff, investigations, and I appreciate you coming on tonight, Greg.
Oh, thank you very much for inviting me, and let's make 2021 a lot better.
Awesome. Sounds good.
We'll start it off in January.
Definitely.
Okay. Okay. Yep. If we don't see you guys have a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thanks, Greg. Merry Christmas.
Thanks for everything.
All right. I'm going to pull you out and end the show. So I will, I'll talk to you later, Greg. Have a good evening.
Okay. Thank you.
See you, Greg.
Okay. Take her easy, guys.
All right. Good stuff.
All right. Good deal. Yeah. That was Greg Koss from Shadows Hunter Paranormal Investigations and Event Page. And he has his own show too, guys. I guess every Friday, I believe it is, he said, at 7:00. So check that out for sure. Get on there, like their page, and definitely, follow him on his show too. He's got some interesting stories of things that's happened to him over the years, just like, we have. So it's cool to talk with other investigators and people and listen to what they have to say. So, I got Luke on here too, and we're going to make an announcement here about our next investigation coming up. I want to talk about that real quick before we end the show. I know we went over, but I always enjoy talking to these guests. I always go 3 hours. It seems like when I got a guest on here. So
I feel like Greg probably. I feel like Greg could go all night probably.
I know. Yeah, I could talk to him for another 3 hours. But yeah, we've got a paranormal investigation coming up, guys, in Effingham, Illinois. Monday the 14th, I think, December the 14th, which is a Monday. What's that?
Next Monday.
Yeah, next Monday. So yeah, it'll be I think, actually we're going to go live at 8. We're going to be there at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we're going to be going live at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So definitely check that out. We will be going live and showing you guys what we're doing there in Effingham. We're going to do a full-scale investigation there, I believe. We're going to set up the camera system. They got some strange things going on there. We've done an investigation once there and captured an EVP of a woman in the basement. So, yeah, it's the Effing Brewery Company in Effingham, Illinois. That's where we're going to be at, and we will keep you guys updated on that, post on the page, and let you know again that we're going to be going live from there. So if you don't see us between now and then, we're definitely going to be going live on the 14th. Who knows? We might pop on here with a Pine Lawn investigation if we get bored. and definitely show you guys what's going on there while we're there also. So we want to thank everybody out there for watching tonight, all the fans and everything that watch us night in and night out. So thank you guys, and we had a great guest on there tonight, and we've got Luke on here as a co-host tonight. Hopefully he can, jump on here a lot and co-host with me when he's available. So it's more fun when you're not sitting here talking to yourself, Luke.
Right.
I'll sit here, do the show with like myself, and I'm just sitting here
just sitting there looking at yourself, talking to yourself.
Yeah, it's when I talk back to myself, you got to worry.
Right.
But thanks for watching, guys. I think we're going to end tonight's show. But we will be on here definitely the 14th with a live paranormal investigation at the effing brewery. So have a good night out there, everyone, and we'll definitely see you on the next show.
Yep. See you guys.
See ya. Have a good evening, Luke.
You too, Jason.
All right.